a new format, and that is the digital format. So if we are talking in terms of the digital format, we have to think that our etiquette also needs to change according to that. The kind of clothes we wear, the kind of language which we use, even if it is a meeting with only our friends. Sometimes friends or relatives, they have an online meeting because they are in different parts of the world. So, but we have to, this is a social medium. Please understand that its reach is wide. So, "Arey yaar, kya hai yaar?" that kind of language cannot be used even if you're talking to your closest people. Language becomes an important part of digital etiquette, which we have to remember. Now, two things I would like to mention now. One is the negatives and the other is the benefits. I'll mention the negatives first and then go on to the benefits. Then I will give you a small action plan, what we can do. With that, I will come to an end. It is 1842 now. I have targeted 19 hours. Then 19 to 1920, I would expect all of you to give me your experiences in the classroom. In fact, I have, 5 or 6 test questions, which I will put on the board. I hope I'll be able to share it. And once I put it on the screen, you can give examples of this. If all of you can give one example of all the 6 in writing and send it to the organizers, I think the organizers can have at least an e-version, e-publication. If they don't want to publish, physical publication, no problem. But at least an e-journal, we call this as occasional paper. So FDP, occasional paper on digital well-being. All of you will contribute to that, all 100. And I heard that it is live stream. So all who are on live stream can also contribute. Today, we don't have time. Time is a real constraint. But when you go home, when you write down, when you sit with all these 6 points, which, you will think about in your classroom situation, not what I have told you, but what you have experienced. Because for learning language, for teaching language, experience is the most important tool. We cannot teach language without context. It doesn't make sense. So the context is our experience. Now, what we have to, talk about negatives. 3 negatives, which everybody is mentioning, I'm sure all of you have encountered also, is that, digital habits are so bad that they create problems like digital distraction, digital disorder, and digital disconnect. Distraction, disorder, and disconnect. These 3 things. Digital distraction, as the word itself suggests, is that we keep looking at our cell phone. Students are sitting in the classroom, they constantly keep checking, tung, some sound comes. So message has come, or WhatsApp has come, or Facebook notification has come. So you immediately feel like, see, our curiosity is like that. We are sitting in a party, we are not interacting, we are, constantly checking because we are expecting some important message to come. So we are checking. So we have distraction. This distraction, people often say, don't bring cell phones to the room. Don't put on your cell phones. Please mute your phones before you come in. So what are we trying to do? We are trying to remove digital distraction. So instead of doing in this negative way, what we can do is we can change this digital dependence of students into a learning method by saying, whoever checks during the session, whoever looks at their phone in the classroom or whoever keeps checking will make a game, or will come and give some examples, will teach this lesson or something like that. You give them a task. Don't give them a punishment. Give them a language task. Then, what they will do is they will get out of that distraction, and they will also gain self-confidence, because they are, instead of punishing, you are teaching them language. So distraction is constant desire to go to the digital mode. We have forgotten to be human because we are constantly looking towards the digital mode to give us support. My parents don't love me, so I go online all the time. Many students are saying these things now. So we have to control that. It's a very dangerous trend. For real digital well-being, we have to see that that distraction becomes constructive. Now we come to digital disorder. Disorder is a disease, Disorder, any kind of, you say we have stomach disorder, we have, some other disorder, and so on. So digital disorder is that disease. It becomes like a disease. Doctors are saying it is very dangerous. It is highly stressful. So how to get rid of it? How to get rid of it? Very often we do it by limiting time, which I have done in, action plan. What should we do for digital well-being? I'm telling you already, point number 1, we limit. Today they are saying cell phone holiday. I don't know if you've heard the term. Cell phone holiday, that means leave the cell phone at home and go on a vacation. Don't take your cell phone along on your vacation. 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, you be without it, and then you come back. So limiting the time, this is important. So this is, the third is digital disconnect.
Disconnect.
A whole full-length study has been written by Robert McChesney, which you can read, I think your libraries can buy and read. McChesney. Robert McChesney. The name of the book is Digital Disconnect. So he's saying how we are losing touch with each other, how we are losing touch with reality, how we are living in the virtual world. Some video comes on WhatsApp and we forward it to 20 people. Then after 2 days, somebody tells you, oh, this is a fake video. This is sorry to 20 people you message saying, oh, that was a fake video. So what are we doing? We are not even connected with reality. Somebody tells something on the social media, we start believing. Propaganda is very easy here. Therefore, we have a problem. Digital disconnect also in language teaching is really problem. Spelling GR and 8. They don't want to say GREAT anymore. Great. Thanks. TNXXXXXX. So we are losing. Okay, that's wonderful. You are using digital language, but please be firm with your formal language. Please be excellent with your formal language. Then you digitize your language, you make it short forms, I don't mind. But don't compromise your learning by doing this. Our students are doing that. That is why I'm mentioning this. So the increasing relevance of digital mode, it wasn't there before 2020. We were not talking about digitization so much. Is overwhelming. The greatest danger is that we are unable to control it. It is overwhelming. And the amount of information which is coming to us cannot be processed. It is like overeating. You go to a party, there are 20 dishes. You can't eat all of them. You have to choose and eat. If you eat all the 20 for the next 2 days, you can't go to college. Isn't it? Therefore, you have to be very choosy. There, you have to remember that students and teachers need to use critical thinking. Critical thinking is the ability to evaluate. I can't tell you about critical thinking now because that will take another hour. We don't have that much time. Therefore, I will not talk about it. Some other day, sometime, Avinash College has a course on soft skills. I will talk about critical thinking. Okay? All of us are talking about critical thinking these days. Our students don't seem to have it. Therefore, we need to talk about critical thinking all the time. Now, what are the benefits of the digital mode which are good for our well-being? I have told you the negatives. You know, the negatives are something which we need to avoid. The disorder, the disconnect, and the distraction. These are things we need to avoid. But digital medium can create connections. People who are far away, somebody who reads your paper online and responds to your paper. This has happened to my research papers, They are responding from a far off university in the UK or the US, or in Germany, somebody is writing a review of my book. I don't know them. It is only because we are available online. We are available in the digital platform. Therefore, the digital platform has given us endless scope. It has given us a lot of expansion in what we were aware of. Otherwise, to get 100 people and live streaming also, Avinash College would have found it difficult, because people say how to travel to it, how to go to that college, and so on. People from all over India all the time, and sometimes all over the world are attending. I remember in VIHE, I was taking a course, Vivekananda Institute, and there I found somebody from Sweden. It was an evening course that was early in the morning, Sweden. He said, "Madam, I'm from Sweden." I said, "Oh, wonderful," because it was an online course. So these are great benefits, Unless the learner knows that this is the benefit of the digital medium, they are not going to learn better. For digital habits to become, good habits, because the topic is well-being, if we have to have good habits, they must change themselves. Again, one important topic is change management. Change management is very important. We are used to something, therefore we don't want to change. We are used to, things which work for us. We are experienced. The digital medium is new. We have less experience in this. So we don't feel like experiencing. Therefore, to give your students the experience of the virtual world, the digital world is a great benefit for them, because now they have two things to relate to. One is the real world and one is the virtual world. So the reality as in the physical reality and the digital reality. These two things we have to make them aware of. Unless we make them aware of this, they are not going to see that benefits of the digital mode are there. And these benefits help them to learn. This helps them to learn English by themselves, not only depending on the English teacher or the English class. The digital world has given them the ability to learn, the ability to explore, the ability to acquire knowledge which they come to your classroom and they say, "Okay, madam, I already know. I'm only revising by what you're saying. You're not saying it for the first time to me. I know it, but I'm, like mantra, we are repeating again and again. You repeat, you become better." Then, of course, the digital mode gives you greater mindfulness. Have you seen people looking at their cell phone with total concentration? You keep calling, "Nirupama, are you hearing me? Nirupama, are you hearing me?" No response. They're sitting next to you, but their whole attention is here. So we have to teach our students attention literacy. The digital mode is a wonderful mode of teaching attention literacy. This is what we need to do. Unless we do this, we are not going to get anything. I have already mentioned, now I'm mentioning it once more, and that is experiential learning. The digital mode gives you the experiential dimension of learning. You are learning, you are teaching by using the experience of the student, not your own experiences. You are picking out the language of the student by their own experience. You are telling them to relate to their experience. If we tell them about daffodils, it's no use because it's a wonderful poem, no doubt about it. But they will never see daffodils in their garden. Instead, they will see chamanti pulu. So if we get them to talk about that flower, I think they will learn better English. Do you get my point? Therefore, experiential learning becomes very important. Now, spiritual, I told you about spiritual health already. I have also mentioned meditation, etc. So, contemplative practices, meditative practices, these are all important. The ability to sit, leave the outside world completely, stop the senses from going out, and only concentrate on the digital signals which are coming. That would be a great method in order to practice. YouTube is full of chants, meditative chants, etc. So we are using digital mode to get mindfulness, to get meditation. We are doing all these things. So if we do it properly, if we time it regularly, then what we get is well-being. Now, finally, the action plan in the last 3 minutes, which I have left to me. Limiting screen time, one, I have told you already that, we should have digital so much and physical so much. I think they have given 40-60, I don't know. At one time it was that physical classes should be 60% and online classes should be 60%. So that was the blended mode which was given. I don't know if that is still followed or we have a new system in NEP, what is expected. Some courses are completely 100% digital. Some courses are completely 100% physical. So all these possibilities are there. Therefore, we have to think how much of screen time is allowed. People who are working with computers say that at the end of the day, I can't see anything. I become like blind because all the time I'm looking at a bright light. So we have to look at this. Well-being implies that we look at our physical well-being also, not only the mind. Then we have to also see, how our eyes are reacting. They say they have special kind of specs and things like that for people who are exposed to these rays. They say that while charging your cell phone, don't use it because it might burst. So we have to charge it separately. So these are things which we have to keep for well-being. Now we say, oh, it is charging, but I have to send a most important message. So you keep doing it. Unplug it, send the message, then put it for plug-in. Oh no, if I charge it so many times, then my battery will become weak. Then you wait, let it be 100% charged, then you start sending your message. So we have to choose. That is why I mentioned change management. The ability to choose is most important. And then, of course, if we want to avoid distraction, we have to learn the techniques, the settings where muting all the announcements or the notifications which come to us, all these happen. So if we really want well-being, we have to devise the well-being ourselves. A person who might like 10 hours of digital time might be a different person from one who falls ill after 5 hours of digital time. So we cannot prescribe by saying well-being for everybody is the same. Some people have allergy to some food. Some others have allergy to some other food. Some people can take some medicine. Some others cannot take some medicine. So we cannot standard outline by saying, okay, this is what has to be done. We have to instead look at our own capabilities. When I say to teachers, I mean our and our students, because our students are extensions of ourselves. Unless we guide them, unless we help them, they are not able to find. So we cannot tell them about digital well-being, but we can show them by being models of digital well-being. That is where I would like to, stop what I have said Now let me see, where is the share screen? Huh? Let me see if I can share any screen with you. Huh? Here I have given you some ideas which are in the form of questions. You know, these are test questions. I had no time. I was traveling till 5:50. Then I thought surely I will not be able to join at 6. Therefore, I just copied it onto one PowerPoint and I'm sharing it with you. Now, all participants can just take a screenshot of this and keep it with you for future reference. But if few of you, by looking at any one of them, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are there. By looking at any one of them, if you can think of one example which comes to you, that would be really wonderful. You know, from your classes, you know, how to motivate learners by using technology in the English classroom. Are your learners paying attention to digital tools better or worse than the conventional modes? Give one example. You know, these are such wonderful things that are happening in our classroom from the last 2-3 years. So I'm sure all of you can give examples. I will keep the screen on and I will expect the organizers to manage. Whoever wants to say something, please unmute them or allow them to unmute and they can speak. Now I'm going to be silent completely for the next 20 minutes. I have spoken a lot and now the forum is all yours. Please start speaking. No silence is tolerated, as Veena Madam mentioned in the beginning. You know, in an online meeting, 1 minute silence is equal to 100 minutes waste because there are 100 of us. So we cannot have 1 minute silence. If you don't speak, I have to speak, but I don't feel like speaking. Therefore, all of you should speak. We can begin with the organizers. You all can give one example each.
Thank you, ma'am. It was very informative session with great inputs, which will help us in our updating ourselves with digital well-being. Thank you for such intellectual insights, ma'am. Now, respected participants, as ma'am has mentioned, she asks us to relate ourselves with our classroom experiences and come with the experiential questions. You can share and the slide is screened. You can come out with an examples and even the organizers from Avinash College of Commerce can come out with some kind of illustrations.
All right, ma'am, may I start? Suseela,
Yeah.
ma'am, yes. I think I can answer the last but one question, ma'am. Does digital mode enhance power of concentration? In what way?
Please do.
My experience tells me, yes, it can certainly enhance the concentration, ma'am. In what way is one example that I want to talk about, the PowerPoint presentations. In one of the classes, I was telling them, instead of just writing points and then listing them down like paragraphs and all, why don't you just use visual, images or icons or pictures, or just put the data in a limited way, using more of the diagrams or graphs or pictures, etc. So that way, ma'am, I was able to retain the attention of the students. And visually, even after 2-3 days after, I went to the class, they were able to recall, ma'am, we remember that picture that we saw. So this is what I can relate to. And this is what I can give the answer to your question. So that way, yes, then I realized, yes, digital mode would certainly enhance the concentration of the students.
That's excellent. Really very good example. And,
Thank you.
If everybody comes up with examples like this, you can imagine how much benefit the FDP will be. The
Yes,
FDP just won't be a one-week course. The
Yes.
FDP will be a lifelong learning experience for everybody who thinks like you are thinking and, writes it down and shares it with everybody else. Because we learn maximum by sharing with each other. That is why I said that all of us are English teachers. I might be a little senior to you, but I'm also in your group because I can learn so much from each one of you. It's not as though, the learning goes in one way. Like all of us learn from our own students also.
Yes,
It's
ma'am.
not as though, we learn only, the students only learn from us. Okay, that's an excellent example. Let us have some more.
Yeah, ma'am, with your permission, I want to give my own examples for the first point, ma'am. Are your learners paying attention for that point, ma'am? When I teach, ma'am, I teach engineering students. When I teach in the class, most of the students say, ma'am, we don't have textbooks, we are unable to buy. So that I scan the book, ma'am, and as WhatsApp images, and I send through their official groups, WhatsApp groups, so that they are there with the textbook and they are with their points, and I see the improvement in their midst, ma'am. So this is in this way they paid attention, ma'am, to digital platform by using official WhatsApp group, ma'am. That is what I have observed in my learners. Thank you very much,
But
ma'am.
you didn't introduce yourself.
Yeah, sorry, ma'am. Ma'am, I am Dr. K.V. Lakshmi, working as a professor in Kommuri Pratap Reddy Institute of Technology. Very sorry, ma'am. Then I found that experience in my learners, madam, especially in my classrooms and in my ELCS lab also, ma'am.
It's an excellent example. I think
Thank
all
you.
of us have been doing that at some point or the other.
Yeah. So
Recently, I was taking some classes for Sathya Sai University, which is near Bangalore. So I would give them some, George Bernard Shaw, one whole play reading is there on YouTube. So I said, you listen to the play being read. And they felt very happy that they didn't have to read the play, they could see it. So digital has wonderful, and you have given such an excellent example. I feel really happy. Both the examples are wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening, ma'am. I would like to share, ma'am.
Please.
Yes, ma'am.
My
My name is
my own
Fauziya.
student.
Yes,
Tell me, child.
I'm honored to talk to you, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm from St. Joseph College. I would like to take this first question, ma'am. Are your learners paying attention to digital tools better, worse than the conventional modes? Illustrate. So, ma'am, whenever I'm teaching any poem or any text, ma'am, what I'm doing, I'm integrating LSRW techniques in that by using audio as well as and video. So today I taught a poem "If" by Rudyard Kipling. That is the new text, ma'am, for second year students. So that is a poem prescribed. What did I do? I have given the audio as well as the video, the script on the screen. I asked them, after listening to that, you need to pick the nouns from that particular poem. So they paid attention for the listening part as well as listening followed by writing has done in the class. So like that, we are utilizing that opportunity digitally, ma'am. And literally, the class was a pin drop silence. They were attentively listening as well as they were jotting down the nouns. So both the things going hand in hand together. So it's one of the examples, ma'am. And every day, as we are habituated and we are forced to take digitally, so we are also learning many things from the students as well, ma'am.
That's a wonderful example. So excellent, Fauziya.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Fauziya, ma'am.
Avinash. Thank you, ma'am.
Very good example.
I have been waiting. I would like to share one of the points, ma'am. Ma'am, we are waiting for you to, like, after celebrating, like after keeping the program on soft skills in 2015. After that, we are missing your program, ma'am. When are you going to come to our college? Yes,
someday.
My director asked me. I told him today I'm going to attend.
Then
session.
later, Fauziya, let somebody else speak.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, excuse me.
Yes.
Myself, Vandita Pandey from IET Dr. Ramano Lohiya Awadh University, Ayodhya.
Okay.
And I used to, during lockdown, I have prepared a lot of PPTs of on almost all the topics of my syllabus. And in class also, I teach them with those PPTs and then share it in the Google Classroom. And the students are responding very much in a positive manner. So that I want to share with you.
That's so encouraging to hear. All of you are sharing such wonderful things that I feel that these are the advantages of the digital mode. And if we ensure that their health is also taken care of, that they don't get too much absorbed by the digital mode, then my job is done. I should tell
Yes,
the
ma'am.
organizers that, see, I've done my job.
Yes, ma'am. They don't need any book also for
Yes.
that, because on all the topics I have prepared my PPTs and I share it with with all the students in Google Class.
Yes, Vandita ji, that's an excellent habit you have cultivated.
Thank you, ma'am.
I'm very
Thank you so
proud
much.
that you have such good students.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sumita
Good
ma'am.
evening, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, I am Juveria Fatima from Badruka College of Commerce.
Okay.
Ma'am, I would like to answer this: how to implement self-learning using digital tools. Now, since I started post-COVID, when we got back to physical classrooms, I have made it a habit that after each grammar lesson, I made it a point that I test them using quizzes, which is an online platform. And this, I felt that help the students self-identify where they are lagging, and they significantly improved in their performance. So that is how I have been using that, and I keep recommending various websites. Now, recently I have been through reading news on Telangana today, and I've seen that they have come up with this poll at the end of each news item where the students, where we can answer. They ask questions regarding the news we have just read. So I keep recommending such things to my students, such sources to my students, so that they can go on learning even outside the classroom using the digital tools. So
that's wonderful, Juveria. I feel your students are very fortunate to have you so vigilant. I'm sure they're learning very well. Excellent.
Thank you, ma'am.
Chandana?
Yes, ma'am. I just wanted to share something very simple. These additional reading components that we have in our syllabus. So what I usually do is, because it is additional reading and some of them are not really aware of, those people or the events that we are reading about. So I tell them to, research it on Google and let me know one point about that person. Like today I was taking a class and I was telling them to tell me one point about the waterman of India. So they were very happy because they could use their phone in the classroom. And so they were, each one of them was giving me one point. And finally, they could write a whole paragraph on that particular person. So this is the way I am trying to use it in the classroom. It is not that it is really digitally equipped, but the students are allowed to use the phone in the classroom. So that is how I'm using it.
That's wonderful, because it is like what we are talking about, the wellness in the digital platform is when there is some supervision.
Yes.
Today itself, the government has sent a notification saying parental care for all the digital material available. So I was seeing and I was thinking of the topic today, that we are talking about digital well-being, when, this kind of the ability to monitor is very important. So as a teacher, you are there to monitor, and that is benefiting the students to get the right digital etiquette, the right digital habits, to use digital platform in a creative manner, rather than getting bogged down by the digital disorder, which is like an addiction. Just like people are addicted to hard drinks and things like that, the digitization is also an addiction. So your example is excellent to get rid of that kind of concentrated feeling for the digital mode.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I was just trying to guide them, to show them that phones can also be used for, better things than just looking at.
That is true. That is true. There are so many games available. Remember that, famous German philosopher Wittgenstein told us how language can be learned through games. And you find a plethora of games for vocabulary, for, structures of English, for spellings. All these are there. but nobody is using them. And I would like our teachers not only to suggest these games, but to prepare games themselves. Everybody has a computer science department, and you can use the students of the computer science department. You give them the game and they digitize it. Then you show it to your class. You use it for your class. I'm sure they'll share it with their friends, and it'll be a very popular exercise. Okay, very nice. Till now, what we have got are wonderful examples. I can think. Tell me.
Ma'am, I'm Dr. Shanta. I'm an assistant professor in PB Siddhartha College of Arts and Science, ma'am. Recently, we have started an Instagram page, and every day what students, actually I'm in charge of literacy club. So what I do in the classes, I'll ask the students to make a small video, take one word and the etymology of the word, how to use it, and then the pronunciation of the word, and they'll be recording their video and they'll be posting it in, they'll be sending it to me, and I'll be posting it in the Instagram page of college. So for them, it is an activity, and how to motivate learners by using technology in the English classroom. I just started this small Instagram page, ma'am, recently. So they're very eager to send their videos to me.
That's wonderful. Yeah. That's wonderful. And they, you know, that activity makes them very creative also. Before yes. that, they would have never thought of recording that kind of video. Yes. I'm sure they will love it. It's an excellent example, Dr. Shanta. Very nice. I'm really happy with the level of examples all of you are giving. Such a wonderful session. Next. Come on, others. We have a huge amount still.
Yeah. I request all the participants, please share your experiences. Think of your classroom experiences especially, and share with all of us.
Hello, ma'am. Excuse me.
Yes.
Ma'am, I am Madhvi Lata from BBCIT. I don't say that I use digital media, but I make my class as interactive, as lively as possible. As you were talking about the games, I do invent a lot of games, like especially on vocabulary, ma'am. Like I give certain words, maybe 10 or 15 synonyms. All the synonyms should begin with one letter. So it is not new for them, but just at that moment they should get. Similarly, antonyms also, I ask them to begin with one particular letter. All the synonyms should begin with the same letter. Similarly, I also make this word tangle, that is nothing but arranging jumbled words. All those from the same class only. That once I teach a lesson, from that lesson only I take a few words, I just jumble them and I just ask them to arrange it. So students feel very interesting to do that activity. Just I want to share my experiences, ma'am.
That is really very nice. Now what, you are using this. Now what you can do is digitize it so that it reaches a wider audience. Now it is only reaching your students. If you digitize it, then, they can share it with others. Others can learn English. It can help in self-learning. Students also, get attention literacy, which is the second point which I've mentioned, All these things give a lot of attention literacy. You're saying they're interested. So all these points are covered. You have the basic material. But if you can use it in the digital mode, then it has, a wider range. Since we are, the whole FDP, as far as I remember, is about the technology, use of technology in the classroom and digital technology especially. So if we can use this, what you have done can also be used here, then that would be a wonderful thing which we can do. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you, Madhvi, ma'am.
Ma'am, one more thing, ma'am. I just wanted to answer the third question also, how to implement self-learning using digital tools.
Please,
so in PB Siddhartha College of Arts and Science, we have introduced a STEP course, which is offered by Hindu, Standardized Test of English Proficiency, ma'am. Last year, we have enrolled nearly 1,000 students in that class, in that course. And we have allotted weekly one class for that particular online course. So we'll be going to the class and we will be just the adult supervisors and we'll be guiding them how to log in. And then if they have any login issues, we'll help them. But the course, they themselves do it, ma'am, without anybody's help. So last year, 1,000 students completed that certification, ma'am, course.
Thank you, Dr. Shanta Kumari,
Your
ma'am.
voice is gone, Dr. Shanta.
Hello. Ma'am, am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, now you're audible.
Ma'am, we have introduced a STEP course, ma'am, which is offered by Hindu, Standardized Test of English Proficiency.
No, I
last
got
year.
all that. You
Yes,
said that, students learn on their own. From there,
Yes,
your
ma'am.
voice was cut off.
Yes, ma'am. Nearly 1,000 students enrolled in that particular course, ma'am. All of them have got certificates completion. So this year also we implemented the same. Again, we are going to enroll 1,000 students in that course, and we'll make them do in the college itself. We wanted to monitor them whether they are able to do it or not. So we are doing it, ma'am, in the college.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I think more and more people can do that so that students get better English. Now why the videos become so popular is because there is not much of English being taught. This thing, they are very uncomfortable and they lose their self-confidence when it comes to English. So if we as English teachers give them that confidence, we tell them that, yes, you can learn like you are doing, then that will be a great help. Now somebody has raised their hand.
Kaushalya Kari, ma'am.
Yeah, please give her a chance.
Good evening.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm Kaushalya Kari from Delhi School of Excellence from Manikonda, Hyderabad. So actually, this is not like, I just have a doubt actually, because I teach to very young audience, like grade 4, grade 5 and all. So my question is like, these children, they're having a lot of exposure to different kind of accents. Like earlier when we were studying in school, like most of our accent, most of our teachers were mostly influenced by British accent and British pronunciation and language. But now the kids are being exposed to different kinds, even the Indian literature and accent is being developed. So it is very confusing in the class, like what kind of way like we have to teach and all. So I have many times it is like we are in dilemma, like which spelling to follow or what kind of accent to follow and all. So if you have any suggestion to like what is actually happening in entire country, what the teachers are following across the schools, can you please suggest something, ma'am?
Okay, sure. As you rightly said, we followed the British English because we were under the British for a long time. And British is the original English. It was their mother tongue. Later, it went to different parts of the world. Now, as you suggested, there is no English. Now we use the term Englishes, plural, because there are so many versions of it. In India itself, we have a great variety of English being spoken based on the mother tongue, as you also mentioned. Each mother tongue pronounces it differently. Therefore, what we need to tell young students is that they should get a single standard. None of us, although if we go abroad, if I speak in the US, they say your accent is like the Britisher, but it isn't. We have what is called as GIE. GIE is General Indian English. It is a standard Indian English which all of us speak. Any variation to this, which in spelling there is variation, like, if you say vocabulary, for instance, you say flat, it is British. You say apartment, it is American. We are using apartment today. We are not using flat anymore. Then you say taxi, it is British.
Cab.
You say cab, it is American. But we are saying cab. The reason is because the number of people speaking American English has increased. The digital medium is, Microsoft is American. Therefore, it has become more American. We have to tell the students right from the beginning that first you get the standard Indian English, follow it. In our childhood, if somebody asks, how are you feeling? Or how are you? We would say, fine, thank you. Today, if somebody asks you, how are you? You say good. So good, we used to think, cannot be used in this context. But that's an Americanism. Similarly, spellings, we have variety of spellings where you have differences in British and American. To a fourth grader, we cannot teach so much. The best way to teach, once I was in Singapore and I saw how English is taught to the preschool students. It is only taught by listening and speaking. The reading and writing doesn't come into it at all. In the Indian schools, this is coming. We first write the alphabet A, then only we know that alphabet A is never pronounced as A. In a sentence, we always say a. We say a session, a school, a student, a college. We never say a school, a student, a college, and so on. So that is where the problem lies. So therefore, let us, if they are fourth graders, let us expose them to the English. You're speaking good English. So when they listen to your English, the habit is to imitate. A child learns to speak by imitating. Mother tongue is learned like that. When you have many people at home, the child learns to speak quickly. When you have nobody speaking at home, the child takes a long time to learn to speak. So language comes through imitation. If we give them the proper model, they learn the proper model. When students who come for MA have mispronunciation, I don't blame the student. I blame the model from which they have acquired that mispronunciation. They say mastaru. Now, mastaru, they might not have learned because the pronunciation is master. And this mastaru they have learned because somebody has kept telling them that when they were learning. So when they are in that formative stage, we have to a standard Indian pronunciation, a standard Indian vocabulary, and a standard Indian spelling, which is closest to British English. Once they have reached a higher level, maybe in the 10th class or in the 12th class, we can tell them about the variations because many of them might not be staying in India or working in India. They might be traveling, in which case they should have an exposure. But we must remember that whichever part of the world you go to, if you have a standard Indian English, it is understood. There is no problem of being understood. You will not understand all the dialects of the other country. But if you see the standard English of those countries, whether you go to Australia or UK or USA or Canada, the standard version is easy to understand. But when you're flying and the air hostess makes an announcement, you can never follow because they have a different accent. They have a different dialect. These are all problems of the language. As many people, so many versions of the language. So I can understand your difficulty teaching, fourth grade is difficult in itself, very difficult. But certainly we have to keep to the standard Indian English. That is my recommendation to you. Try it and see. Then maybe after trying for a few months, you might have a problem. We will get in touch again.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
We have exhausted the time now. So Avinash College, I hand over the mic to you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the great inputs, intellectual insights. Respected participants, you have taken the opportunity to interact with the speaker and clear your queries related to the topic. Now I request Mrs. Shailaja ma'am to summarize the key points of the speaker.
Thank you, Roshni ma'am. I'm Shailaja, Associate Professor of English from Avinash Degree College. I'm here to give you the inputs, brief inputs about today's session given by respected Dr. Sumita Roy ma'am about digital well-being. She has made us to realize about the importance of the well-being of, she has given a good terminology regarding that, as it is about holistic health when it comes to digitalization and all. It means that it should be an optimum state of health and well-being. And she also suggested that we should use technology, but in certain way that without compromising our health and all. Every change in human beings living needs adaptation. So we too need to adapt to the new circumstances which are coming in English language to learn the digital literacy and all. Here there are some necessary steps she gave us, that is like utilizing net technology without any like compromising in physical health, mental health, social health, intellectual health, spiritual health, and also emotional health. Here comes in digital awareness. She mentioned how there is a need to transform to the competence. Like digitalization should not make us as a passive learner. And so she has suggested to use digital mode as a creative mode, by giving some tasks to students such that they can be creative and learn language as well. And also she explained us how the technology has developed and we need to adopt to new skills, apps and all, in which she mentioned some apps to where we are conducting some classes and all. And being an English lecturers and teachers, we need to be constantly be adapted and updated with the technology, such that it is beneficial for the students or also in the classrooms and all. And coming to digital etiquettes also, ma'am has given some negatives, that is where we are suffering because of distractions and all due to digital and all, digital disorders, and also even digital disconnections and all from social well-being and all, how people are getting disconnected because of some any notifications or whatever it is they face. And also she gave some inputs regarding how we are getting overwhelmed with the relevance of digital literacy, digital mode and all. Even she told us that digitalization makes students and also teachers to think critically, and when it comes to positive effects of digital medium, it is connecting people. And she gave an example like how her book, she received some reviews regarding that from people who stays far away, even they could reach her book and also gave her reviews on it. And also how the management even has to change in aspects of the students to make them with good concepts and all, to make them learn the concept and all, to adapt the technologies and all, and to make them and also we need to make the students to be how to teach the students to be attentive in a attentive literacy topic, isn't it? And also she gave us the explained us about the experiential mode of learning. And thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Shalja ma'am, for briefing out or summarizing our distinguished keynote speaker, Dr. Sumita Roy ma'am's speech on digital well-being. Now I request, dear participants, we have one announcement made for you. Please be informed that there is a small change in the schedule of the day 4 FDP speaker. So tomorrow, Dr. Madhavi, Professor, National Institute of Technology, Warangal, she's going to address classroom strategies and interdisciplinary perspective to the emerging research areas in ELT and literature. So tomorrow's session, it's going to be definitely a productive session for all of us. So don't miss that. And before you leave this Zoom session, I expect all of you people to fill the feedback form messaged in your WhatsApp before you leave the session. We hereby end the session.
Roshan ma'am, 1 minute. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yes, ma'am.
Sumita Roy ma'am, thank you so much for being with us here, taking your precious time out and enlightening us on digital well-being. Thank you so much, ma'am. You've been very humble. And like I said, it's a dream come true for me, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Please accept our gratitude, heartfelt gratitude from Avinash College of Commerce, English Department. And yes, we sincerely feel the need of such kind of exposure in digital literacy. So we expect you very soon, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
I was very happy to be with you.
So much,
God bless all of you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
I'm leaving the meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you,
ma'am.
Thank you.
Great day, ma'am.